Good morning, everybody. My thought for you, since we are in a time of change, right? It's the season for change, it's the Vata season, and Yin is a really good practice for Vata everything because it's a practice of getting quieter and it's a practice of settling into what's there instead of wondering what will be and what was yesterday. So we're doing a lot of postures today that are focused on kidney and bladder meridian, because those are the meridians, those are the organs that have to do with our fear response, right? And the fear response, right, when it's moving through the body is what takes us out of right now, right? The fear is the anticipation, the fear is the excessive judgment, the fear, it gets all wrapped up into that activity of the mind. So the fear complex runs through those meridians. So even if you are not momentarily thinking, right, you're not connecting to a feeling of fear or anxiety, is those organs are still going to be, or those meridians are still running that energy from the last time you were afraid, right, if it never fully dissipated. So we're working with those organs today as a way to bring the mind, the awareness back to right now, right? And that's always the practice of yoga, but Yin can be so powerful for that, that whatever arises, right, that may come with that little edge of fearfulness yesterday and tomorrow. The practice is, can you just let it be right now and see if there is a wisdom that comes with that, of letting go of what it will be and letting it be exactly what it is, right? So eyes closed if you're not there already. And if you've never even considered where your kidneys and your bladder are, start to bring your attention there. The kidneys rest that lower edge of the rib cage, the back of the body. So as you're breathing, bring your breath a little bit deeper into the lower edge of your ribs. Maybe even feeling like you're rounding your back just a little bit so that you can feel a fullness at the back of your rib cage. And the bladder, low down in the pelvis. So can you feel a widening of your sit bones, a heaviness that comes into your seat so that that whole space of the abdomen becomes soft. So already you're not just settling into somewhere, you're settling into right here. There are the kidneys that are happening this moment, the bladder that is happening this moment, the brain that is happening this moment, the heart that is happening this moment. So whatever is there with that, be with it. And then bringing hands together in front of the heart center, please. Deep breath in for the sound of Om. And keeping the eyes closed, let your hands come to rest on the knees or the thighs and just do a little bit of gentle cat and cow, inhaling, lifting the chest just a little bit, and exhaling, rounding back into the ribs, and continue like that, just gentle, gentle, gentle movement. You want to almost feel like you are articulating the spine. Good. So it's not a pushing forward or a pushing back. It's that, can I find the articulation of the lift of my spine on the inhale? And can I articulate each vertebra of my spine as I exhale and fold in? Good. Again, with the focus of keeping the pelvis nice and soft, you're articulating the spine. So you're not even looking for stretch. You're just looking for, can I feel each and every vertebra, especially the lower I go in my spine. can I start to feel each and every vertebra? Again, it's that low body, that middle to low body that is so affected by fear. It's the area that the psoas attaches to, pulls on the lower back. Kidney and bladder run through the back. Good. And then start to bring yourself back to stillness, please. Bring your feet a little further out in front of you. Come to butterfly, so bottoms of the feet come together, knees wide. Looks like Baddha Konasana. You can absolutely have a prop underneath your seat if you'd like. If you want a block in front of you to rest your forehead on, you're welcome to do that. And you're just going to let yourself round forward. So forward fold, but you're allowing the back to round. So lean forward. If you would like to thread the arms underneath the raised knees, that is one option. Again, it gives you something else to rest on. Otherwise, the arms can rest in front of the shins. Again, you can place your forehead on a block. And so the seat is heavy and you are breathing into that roundness of the back body, the fullness of the back body. And do your best that as you find each position that you are finding it and then you are letting yourself go almost boneless. There's a weightiness to being in the posture, that the posture is the anchor. Letting the breath be long and deep into the back of the rib cage. This practice is called Yin because Yin is the energy that receives. It's the energy that is open and flexible and soft. When we become open and flexible and soft, and there's a rising up of understanding. No seeking involved. And when there's a rising up of understanding, there's a rising up of wisdom. And change happens so much more simply. So each breath, allow it to come, don't seek it. Getting wider and wider through the back of your ribs. Put music on for yourself, that's beautiful. There's also the practice of being with your own inner sound. It might feel initially like that's silence, but if you tune in, listen, there's an inner sound. And I don't mean the voice of your thoughts. Take one more deep breath. And then slowly unwind yourself. Coming up to sit, keep the legs where they are. Walk your hands back behind your hips. As far back as you'd like to go, because I just want you to lean back onto your hands. Hips stay on the floor. Good. If you want to turn your fingers to point back, you get a nice little stretch through the upper chest and shoulders. Hands can be as wide as you want. Again, they're just like kickstands, tripods to hold the chest up and open. So hips down, chest up, long throat. And just breathe there a moment. Good. And then walk yourself back up to upright, please. Good. Stretch the right leg out to straight. Bring your left knee up to face the ceiling. Cross that foot over the right thigh, please, and come into a spinal twist. So as you cross that foot over, right arm is going to wrap around your knee. Yep, left hand can come back behind you. And remember, even though this is not a specific yin posture, do it with a yin mentality of you're not seeking anything. You're holding that thigh so that you can lift long through the low back and stay heavy in your seat. Stay soft in your abdomen. Practice not looking for anything to happen. Good. Slowly unwind, switch to the other side. Take your left leg forward. Bend the right knee in, step it over the thigh. Left arm wraps around the front of the knee, right hand comes behind you. I want you to even keep your gaze neutral. Don't even look over the right shoulder. Let your gaze come neutral. Yeah, so relax your heads, you guys, back towards forward. Yep, take the reaching out of your spine. So you're hugging, but you're not pulling through your neck. A little different. Good. And then come back to center, please. Beautiful. Unwind that leg, scoot forward on your mat, come onto your backs. Good. And then extend the left leg out and down to the floor. Bring the right knee in towards your chest. Do a little circling of that knee, just move it in the hip socket. Again, slow. You're not looking for anything to happen here. More important to feel, how does the leg actually sit with the pelvis? You're lubricating a joint. Good, bring it straight in towards the chest. And then cross that knee over to the left side, come into spinal twist. We're coming into cat pulling tail. So the leg that is extended down towards the floor, your left leg, bend the knee, kick your heel in towards your butt. Good, and if you can reach for the ankle, go ahead and reach for it. If not, just let the knee be bent and let that right shoulder relax. Then holding either behind the thigh on that right leg or reaching for the ankle or the big toe, start to extend that right leg to straight. You can absolutely put a block underneath the ankle or underneath the knee. So the top leg is straight, holding the leg if you can. Lower leg is bent. Shoulders relaxing towards the floor. So come into spinal twist first. Yeah. Left leg straight out, right knee over. Good. Now the knee that is bent, straighten it. Yep. And the leg that is pointing towards your couch, bend it like you're gonna do a quad stretch. There you go. And breathe very deeply. And you are in a position to receive that inevitability. You say change is inevitable. So you are always in a state where you are not directing all of the changes. You are always in a state where you are receiving. The changes in nature happen without your control, without your direction, without your demand. It does not always even meet your expectations of what happened last year or yesterday. So practicing being in that state of right here, right now. Even watching where there are moments of anxiety that arise. Receive it. Allow it to become part of the changing flow of your breath. So every breath allows the mind to empty, to circulate. Space for something to rise up right beneath or right alongside the fear that's there. And if there is no fear, enjoy your breath and enjoy what's there. Look for those qualities of heaviness in every posture. Every posture is an anchor. So wherever there is in the posture that your mind would like to run from, get heavier. And take one more breath. Enjoying the rise and fall of the chest, feeling the lower spine. And then begin to bend that top knee, release the lower ankle. Good. Bring yourself back onto your back, knees in towards your chest. And then just hold the front of the shins and just breathe there. If you'd like to add a little pressure of the shins back into your hands to help decompress the lower spine, that's fine. Resist the urge to roll and move and try to fidget. And instead, can you just find that steady place where you're holding yourself and you're breathing deeper? Just on your back, holding your knees. And then if you're applying pressure, if you're pushing your shins into your hands, release that pressure and just let the legs be heavy, falling in towards the belly. Let your back be heavy, falling into the floor. Let your ribs be heavy. Good. Those moments of just allowing yourself to stay still and hold are just as valuable, just as necessary as any posture that you will ever do. Keep the left knee in towards the chest, extend the right leg down to the floor. And start to make circles with that left knee, moving the thigh and the hip socket. Again, as though you are giving yourself a massage. Good. And then bring the shin, bring the knee straight in towards the chest. And then cross that leg over to the right spinal twist. Cat pulling tail on the other side. So the leg that is extended, the right leg, heel comes in towards your butt, reach back for the foot or the ankle. Top leg extends to straight. Again, holding behind the thigh, ankle, big toe. You can use a block underneath the foot or a door, that works. And you're relaxing the shoulders. Again, holding the leg, holding the feet. Not only are you creating an energy circuit here, the hands are touching the body as you're creating an energy circuit. The prana is able to circulate completely from body part to body part. But you're also creating that greater anchor, that even though it might be challenging to hold the leg, to hold the foot, if it's available, it gives, again, more structure for the spine to relax into the twist. And remember, that is the point, is to find these postures and then to let go of effort. So you go back to that heavy quality. The bladder meridian runs all the way down the length of the spine. The lower back, it makes a turn and goes to your outer hip and travels all the way down the outside of the leg and ends at the baby toe. It begins at the point of your sinuses, inside the inside of the eyes. Wraps around the top of the head, down through the back of the neck. It's a very long meridian. So if you felt that feeling of the tension running up your back when something's making you nervous, you feel your neck or your jaw go tight. Bladder meridian. So notice your jaw. Is it possible to release that lower jaw away from the top? To let the tongue become loose in the mouth, maybe even allow it to float up towards the roof. And all the subtle ways that you are holding yourself ready for tomorrow. And you shift that back to right here, right now. If there's a heaviness, And the longer you are here, the more relaxed you become. And here is a relative term. Not just this position, but the longer you are here inside yourself, the more relaxed you become. The more time you spend in your inner spaces, connecting to that heaviness, connecting to that receptiveness, the more relaxed you become. Take one more deep breath. Finish the breath completely. And then begin to bend that top leg. Release the ankle if you're holding it. Come back onto your back. Plant the feet. Pause for a moment with the knees bent, ankles underneath your knees. And then lift the hips, please. Place a block underneath your seat, any height that you'd like. But again, remember the point is to allow yourself to settle. So if you choose a very high height that puts your back in a state of strain, it might be hard to settle there. Then do set yourself up so the knees are still over the ankles. Arms can be wide if they'd like. They can be overhead if they'd like, holding opposite elbows or wrists. You're breathing wide through the chest, wide through the abdomen. Remember, there is a difference between the kind of sensation that says this position is not sustainable and I have to change it, and that feeling that says, oh, I'm not 100% comfortable, so I'll keep moving, hoping that there's better positions out there. Letting the mind settle into here and now often means knowing that there may be some minor discomfort, not completely at ease. But that if you rest with that feeling, a moment goes by, 2 moments goes by, and it changes. Again, you did not change it, you simply waited and allowed the change to occur. So every posture is your anchor, not only because it gives you a place to settle, it gives you a place to receive change as it is happening. part of this practice is allowing the mind to do what it's doing. And set your posture so that they are sustainable, but try not to go into that mode of moving and moving and moving until I am comfortable. Receive the wisdom of your own discomfort. Receive the understanding of your own discomfort, your own fear. And that powerful moment when what you thought was a feeling that would always be there changes. That's the true practice. Allowing those moments of change to happen and really seeing them. One more full breath into the front of the ribs, the back of the ribs. And slowly lift the hips, remove the block from underneath you. Again, articulating the spine back down to the floor. So find each vertebra as the spine lowers down. I know that's not easy to do, and you'll find that the more you try to do it, there'll always be one or two vertebrae that you feel like you miss every time. Keep practicing it until you can hit every one of those vertebrae. Drawing the knees in towards your chest. Again, just pausing there, holding the knees, relaxing the throat, feeling the back press into the floor. Beautiful. And then drop the knees to either side, bring yourself up to sit. I should say bring yourself up onto hands and knees. So here you may want a pillow or something that simulates a bolster, possibly. You may want a block. You may want cushioning underneath your knees. We're doing frog. So that's essentially starting almost like a wide child's pose. And you're turning the feet so that they are flexed and the big toe edge of the feet is pointed down towards the floor. So you're making 90-degree angles with the shins if you can. So heels right behind your knees. Good. And then walking the torso forward. So again, if you need cushions underneath your knees, make sure you have them. If you want a bolster or a pillow underneath your belly, make sure you have it. Good, so frog position, like you're in child's pose, but you're gonna widen your feet so that you have like a straight line from knee to knee. It's a groin opener. Yep, there you go, and feet flexed. Good. So your inner knees, your inner shins should be against the floor. Good. Torso is forward, again, resting on the forearms. Block can be underneath the forehead. And you're breathing. And stay conscious of, I know it's an intense feeling, can be an intense feeling through the legs. Stay conscious of how that maybe translates to a tightening to your jaw. in a frog position, essentially like you're doing squat pose, but on your belly. Feel the weightiness. Not trying to push the body to get more open, but just allowing gravity to do what it does. The longer you are here, the more relaxed you become. The more your attention is on the deepness of your breath, the more relaxed you become. Breathe into the kidneys, lowest space of your rib cage. The kidneys are not only associated with fear, but they are a reservoir for some of the foundational energy, foundational prana that runs through your system. When the kidneys get depleted, everything else becomes shaky. When you breathe into the kidneys, you're not just breathing to give them relief. It is as though you're refilling a reservoir of resilience, patience. A world, if the kidneys are tired, guess what we don't feel like doing? Anything. So breathe into your kidneys with that awareness that you are refilling a reservoir. And then very slowly begin to walk your hands back in. So you are pushing the upper body up out of the pose. Good. Again, being mindful of your knees as you bring the feet back towards each other, come back towards hands and knees. Do a little gentle cat and cow if you'd like. And then coming to stillness, I'd like for you to tuck your toes under, drop your hips back onto your heels. Sit on your heels, upright, bring your hands to your thighs, toes tucked under. I know. And shoulders up. So you're sitting in Vajrasana, toes tucked under. Yeah, so you're just sitting on your shins, your toes tucked under, hips on your heels. And find your breath for a moment. The longer you are here, the more relaxed you become. Don't argue with that. And then next deep breath in, lift the hips up off of your heels, untuck your toes, sit back to Vajrasana, the other version, toes untucked. Just sit your hips back onto your heels for a moment. But allow all of that to arise. Frustration, discomfort, annoyance. And then can you allow it to just move with your breath? Whatever was there a moment ago. All it took was untucking your toes and maybe it disappeared. And then slowly come on up, please. Find your way forward onto your belly. This is one thing I like about Yin is I don't have to worry about how you get there. I just have to tell you to get there. Come onto your belly, please. Beginning in Sphinx, so up on your forearms. So we're coming into, it's called broken wing or double V, has many names. So from Sphinx pose, you're actually going to bring your right elbow in front of your left, so your elbows are in line with each other. Forearms on the floor, so they're deeply crossed. So you can start, elbows together, turn the forearms, right arm in front of left. And then you're dropping the chin either onto the upper arms or perhaps a block underneath the forehead. Yeah, but you start from Sphinx, you bring the arms across the body, almost like you're gonna wrap the arms for eagle that deeply. So elbows are in line with each other, like two wings sticking out to the side. Good, and then you're resting the chin on the forearms or on a block. Good. Or on nothing. Nice. And again, breathing wide into the upper back. That heavy quality, they say, is very important for a meditative practice. Because wherever the changing thoughts want you to go, want you to run, when you've made the decision, that heavy quality says, I'm just going to stay. And the thoughts can run and run and run and run. And if your awareness is not chasing them, it takes that pressure away from the fear response, takes the energy away from it. And allows it to circulate somewhere else. That's where we have the ability for another experience to rise up. Change is happening. Not it will happen, it is happening. Regardless of what you do or think about it, it's happening. So you can practice receiving it and allowing yourself to refill those reservoirs because you are stopping to receive. Or the energy of continuing to chase. leaves us continuously tired. The balance of the Vata energy, because Vata is not automatically fear, but it can, if there's already anxiety, as it can heighten it, can spin that direction. So the balance for it is steadiness. The balance for it is creating clear containers. Every posture is your anchor. Deep breath into the back, the low of your rib cage, low space of the ribs. And then slowly release, unwinding the arms. Good, come back towards Sphinx. And you're coming into seal. So if you'd like to take your feet a little wider behind you, if the lower back is a little tight, you can widen the feet. But with the forearms straight ahead, elbows right underneath your shoulders or slightly forward, you can come slightly forward. You can widen the angle of the hands a little bit. So instead of straight ahead, they can go slightly out. But you're pushing into the forearms and lifting the chest, straightening the arms. Good. Yeah, and it's not a long hold here. I want you to lift up. And again, feel the weightiness, feel the heaviness. It's not about pushing the floor away. It's about creating that kickstand for the spine to settle. Good. Breathing deeply. And if it becomes too intense to have the arms straight, come back to Sphinx. Keep your jaw relaxed. It's cute that every time I say that, you all wiggle your jaws in this kind of frantic way. Just let the lower jaw be heavy. Adjust yourself very gently. Again, this is a practice of receiving, not a practice of trying to fix what's wrong. There's nothing wrong. There's just habits. There's habits of being tense. There's habits of looking to get away from discomfort. So where that habit exists, it says, I want to run. Get heavier. Relax. The moment's going to change. Next breath. Bring the forearms back down to the floor. You're switching to broken wing on the other side. So bring the left arm in front of the right. Moving the arms so that the elbows, you're wrapping the arms deep in front of the chest. Elbows in line with each other if they can be. Good. Again, forehead can come onto a block, or you can just drop the chin onto the upper arms. As long as you can breathe, you're in a perfect position. The arms are crossed in front of the chest. Right, so there's that mentality in Yin that you are holding postures so that there can be a deeper release in the tissue, a deeper release than just stretching muscles. But to receive that benefit, you have to relax. Even feelings of anticipation of what you will feel like after the practice, after this pose. Even feelings of anticipation, can you receive them and also get quiet around them? Because anxiety can spin us high and it can spin us low. But its nature of that energy is to spin. So practice being heavy, being steady. A state of receiving. The longer you're here, the more relaxed you become. So you're allowing the arms to cross almost deeper. Especially if you have something underneath your forehead, relax your neck. Like if you're doing yin and you have a block under your forehead and you come up and there's not a deep crease of the block pushing into your head, from the block pushing into your head, then you weren't relaxed enough. One more deep breath into that lowest space of your rib cage. And then slowly walk yourself back up, unwinding the arms, come back to Sphinx. One more time in seal. So again, separating the feet if you need, if you want to spread or angle the arms outward a little bit, maybe even moving the elbows slightly forward, push into the hands, straighten the arms. And again, the arms are like a kickstand, so you're not trying to create a bigger back bend. You're using the arms as a way to keep the spine uplifted so that it can relax in this longer position. And keep your breath moving into that low range of your ribs, kidneys. Let your jaw drop. And every breath, you're refilling that reservoir. The kidney energy that says, I'm ready to live. I'm not exhausted by change. Deep breath in. And then slowly release, elbows back down to the floor. Good. Forehead comes down to the floor. Make a pillow with your hands. Rest your forehead on your hands. If you need to wiggle the lower back at all to release any stagnation there, go ahead. And take one more long breath into the back of the body. And start to find your way onto your backs. Good. Drawing the knees in towards the chest. Again, just holding the front of the shins. If you'd like to apply a little bit of pressure, pressing the shins back against your hands, again, a place to widen the lower back again. But do it in a way that is still very slow and still and steady. Try to feel every vertebra pressing down into the floor. And then if you've added that pressure, release the pressure. Just let the legs become heavy, dropping into the belly. And then you're going to move your hips over to the left, dropping the knees to the right. Keeping the knees stacked on top of each other, level with your hips or slightly higher so the knees come a little bit more up towards your belly. Again, very neutral for the pelvis. Breathe into the back of the ribs. And then bring the knees back to center, please. Again, without moving aggressively, move your hips over to the right, dropping the knees to the left. Like your body just artwork, kind of mindfulness. So what is the state that I am creating by putting together this posture? And what am I receiving while I'm breathing through it? And it's not a question that you answer with your thinking. Those are questions that you answer with your feeling. A change is occurring. How am I receiving that change this moment? And if there is fear, if there is anxiety, can I be patient and allow it to change as my breath moves? Slowly come back to center, please. Moving the knees in nice little circles, last massage for the lower back. And then steadying yourself and stretching the legs out in front of you for Shavasana. If you would like to place something under your knees for Shavasana, that can be very relaxing for the lower back. If you have a blanket that you would like to place over your chest or belly, one of the suggestions for Vata season is to make sure that you stay warm. So over those areas that would cover the kidneys, that would cover the bladder. And then as you are coming into your deep rest, just follow the breath for a few moments. Following the breath in and down. up and out. Equal joy following the breath in and down. Equal interest following the breath up and out. And when even that attention wants to fade, let it fade. The longer you are here, the more relaxed you become. Very gently bring the awareness back to your breath. Letting the body begin to stretch, move, whatever ways serve it well. And as you're ready, draw the knees in towards your chest and roll to your right side. Still heavy, still moving slow. And then begin to push the floor away to come back to an upright seated position. Right? The practice doesn't end until you have stepped off of your mat. And even then it doesn't end. So the way that you treat yourself when you come up from Shavasana, just as important as how you got into Shavasana. Bringing the hands together in front of the heart, palm to palm, or whatever mudra has been serving you well. We are in the season of change, but we know as people, not just as yogis, but as human beings, that change is always happening. Whether we want it, whether we like it, whether we know what to do or we don't know what to do, it's happening. And so the practice of yin is one of deep acceptance and deep receptivity for what is this moment, not what might be tomorrow, not what was yesterday, but what are you receiving from your life? What are you receiving from yourself right now? This is kidney energy. Kidney bladder is that energy that says change is happening, life is happening, and I have the energy to survive it. I not only have the energy to survive it, but I have the energy to be fully present, fully engaged, and to fully enjoy. And if that energy goes somewhere else, if it's looking for tomorrow, we start to lose that vibrancy right now. So there's a big practice in being patient and allowing change to happen in a way where you know that you are receiving it. It's not pushing you. You're receiving it. So stay steady. Close with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody. Thank you guys so much. It's been a little bit since I've taught yin, so hopefully that left you in the state of yin that you are used to. You have to unmute yourself to talk to me.
Thank you very much.